Hello, welcome to BioGrades TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. Traditional rulers who fought colonialism in Kenya. The Imperial British East African Company (IBEAC) was granted a license by the British government in 1888, which marked the beginning of colonization of present-day Kenya. The British authorities, to the horror of the natives, went on to claim the lands of the local people forcefully, introduced forced labor, and passed laws that made the natives subjects of the British settlers. Waiyaki wa Hinga was a local ruler who saw the beginnings of the cruel approach of the British and tried to oppose them. He paid dearly for that. Waiyaki wa Hinga was a leader of the Agikuyu, ruling the South Gikuyu. He initially offered no resistance to the British when they came. In fact, he had signed in good faith a treaty with Frederick Lugard of the Imperial British East Africa Company (IBEAC), allowing them to build a fort in his domain. While construction of the fort was ongoing, Captain Lugard got a message delivered by a messenger on the 19th of October 1890, which required him to report to Uganda immediately. His assistant, George Wilson, was then left in charge of the team and required to complete the fort. It was with Wilson that Waiyaki's troubles began. The understanding that Waiyaki had with Lugard was that the locals would supply the IBEAC officials with food, which was to be paid for on demand, and that none would cause harm to the other. But after Captain Lugard's departure, Wilson and his men started demanding without payment for food, goats, sheep, and even women for their pleasures. This greatly upset Waiyaki, who saw those demands as an insult to the dignity of his people. In early 1891, he led some armed men who attacked the fort and burnt it to the ground. For his role in the disturbance, Wilson was demoted and subsequently transferred. Later in April, another team led by Major Eric Smith arrived and took up the building of another fort to replace the one burnt down. The British officials had not forgotten the humiliation they suffered when the natives burnt down their fort at Kiawaria, and early in 1892, they claimed Waiyaki had stopped their plot to raid a village called Ryuki. Indeed, Waiyaki had secretly sent message to inform and warn the people of Ryuki of the planned attack by the administration, and so the villagers had fled with their livestock. Angered and agitated, the British officials attacked Waiyaki's village, killing 30 villagers and destroying crops. 2 days later, Waiyaki proceeded to the fort to complain about the destruction brought about by the officials. He was not allowed to enter, but he pushed his way in. It was there a British official named Porkis attacked him and inflicted a head injury on him. He was then chained and handcuffed to a flag post all night long. The next day, he was tried in a makeshift courthouse and sentenced to deportation to Mombasa. It was while he was on his way to Mombasa as a prisoner, he died at a place called Kibwezi, having been greatly weakened by the head injury. Although the accounts of how he died differ, some say because he grew so weak and ill, with little chance of reaching Mombasa alive, the head of the traveling party had him buried alive. Other accounts say he was left in a mission hospital where he died some days later. By a strange twist, a month later, Porkis, who had inflicted the head injury on Waiyaki, also fell ill and died at the very same town of Kibwezi while he was on his way to the coast to sail back to Britain. Waiyaki Way, one of the busiest and major roads in the city of Nairobi, is named after Waiyaki. Koitalel Arap Samoei was another Kenyan traditional leader who fought the British. He was born around 1860. He was the chief of the Nandi people of Kenya with the traditional title of Okoyot. He led the Nandi struggle against the British colonial rule. His father was Kimyole Arap Turukat. Though he was the youngest of his father's 4 sons, he was closest to him and was said to have prophetic abilities like his father. It is said that Samoei had prophesied that a black snake would run through Nandi land spitting fire. The railway was later identified as the snake he spoke of in his prophecy. It is because of these he would fight the construction of the railway for a decade. After the death of his father Kimyole, Samoei was appointed his successor and was made Okoyot in 1895. When the British colonial administration started the building of the Uganda Railway through the Nandi area, he organized and led a resistance movement against the railway for 11 years. To put an end to the resistance, the British Colonel Richard Menedzagen sent for Samoei to negotiate a ceasefire. The peace meeting was scheduled for 11 a.m. on October 19, 1905. Suspecting that his life may be at risk, Samoei demanded that the British colonel come with 5 persons only to meet him at Kebarak. Samoei as well was to come with 5 companions. But Menedzagen did not keep to the agreement and marched to the meeting with 80 armed men, 75 of whom hid themselves close by. It is said that as Samoei extended his hand to shake Menedzagen's, the British colonel brought out his gun and shot him dead at close range. The Nandi resistance immediately fell apart without Samoei's leadership. Samoei was succeeded by his brother, Kipeles Arap Tamasun. His own son, Basirian Arap M. Koitalel, later became the leader of the Nandi in 1919. He was arrested by the British in 1922 and remained in prison until 1964, becoming the longest-serving political prisoner in the history of Kenya. A mausoleum was built in honor of Koitalel Arap Samoei in Nandi Hills, Kenya. Also, a new university in his memory was built and opened in Nandi County in 2019. It is named Koitalel Arap Samoei University. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.